that some of the best... Whoops. Oh dear. I must have bumped it when I set this down for a minute. I was going to set it down and talk for a minute. Hi everyone. I am now ready to listen to my last of the 3 J's in the famous trio. This time it's going to be Janis Joplin. I've already listened to Jim Morrison, The Doors, and hopefully you've seen that one. And recently I listened to Jimi Hendrix, and unfortunately that one cannot go on YouTube, but I do have it on my Ko-fi and Patreon membership pages for anyone who wants to go check it out there. Of course, on the membership pages I also have all the Beatles 150 series that I'm doing, as well as Queen 50 and Pink Floyd, The Wall, and so all of those ongoing projects. But here we have Janis Joplin today. Funny little note. I know that so many of you have said so many times, I need to listen to Janis Joplin. I need to listen to Janis Joplin. And of course, the name Janis is a feminine name, so I assumed it was a woman. And then when I sat down today and saw the spelling, I've seen the spelling over and over, but I suddenly had this moment of fear of, what if it's a he and I've just been assuming it's a woman all along? Well, fortunately, Vlad has a text here and I'm going to read it in a minute, but I just saw in the first sentence her and she, so I know that it is a she after all. Anyway, just a funny little momentary, what have I been assuming so long, and do I really know that it's true? Janis Joplin was noted for her powerful mezzo-soprano vocals and electric stage presence. Well, I am not looking at a live performance today, so if that is the case, then at some point I can tell you that I will go and watch a live performance because, well, as you know, I'm currently working through the Queen 50 series, and if you've been watching that, you've seen me comment about how electric Freddie Mercury's stage presence is as the singer. So I am very curious to see another electrifying stage presence, and fascinated that this time it's going to be a woman. Anyway, I'm not watching it today. I'm just listening to the score, to the soundtrack, and I'll do that at some point in the future. She died of a heroin overdose in 1970 at the age of 27. Same age as Jim Morrison and Jimi Hendrix, and that's why they're kind of referred to as the trio, I understand. She was posthumously inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1995. Rolling Stone ranked Joplin number 46 on its 2004 list of the 100 greatest artists of all time, and number 28 on its 2008 list of 100 greatest singers of all time. She remains one of the top-selling musicians in the United States, with Recording Industry Association of America certifications of 18.5 million albums sold. Joplin didn't write that many songs, but she composed this one with her producer Gabriel Meckler. She explained that she needed to be in a state of trauma and duress in order to write a song. And that's exactly the state she found herself in when she came up with Kozmic Blues, which described her condition at the time. That's so interesting because it is true. Many musicians, many composers throughout history have done some of their best work after incredibly painful experiences or episodes or during those times in their life. It seems like those intense emotional states seem to sharpen one's awareness and make a person able to dig deeper into themselves in order to find inspiration, or at least express the things that through their craft, through their art, that we all, the rest of us, are so able to relate to and identify with. She said, I can't write a song unless I'm really traumatic, emotional, and I've gone through a few changes. I'm very down, she said in Rolling Stone. No one's ever going to love you any better, and no one's going to love you right. This is one of the tracks that showcase Joplin's powerful vocals and her ability to lose herself in a song. she would sometimes enter an almost trance-like state when performing it. As she summed up the pain that led her to write the song, this sounds like it must be a very personal song. Joplin spelled the title of the song with a K to take the edge off. "It's too down and lonely a trip to be taken seriously," she said. "It's like a joke on itself." Well, that's an interesting perspective, because if it's such a personal song, such a personal experience, and it comes from such a traumatic, dark emotional time, to then say, about the music at least, it's too dark to be taken seriously. I wonder how she related to her own personal experience looking back on it. Did she kind of want to treat that as a joke on herself as well? I don't know. It's just a curious approach to take. This expression of one's experience and then say, treat it like a joke on itself. The song peaked at 41 on US Billboard 100. All right. Well, I know that Janis Joplin is considered one of the greats. I know that Janis Joplin is a she. And I understand that this song is an incredibly intense expression of a very personal experience.
Just one night, oh yeah. Well, I'm 25 years old now, so I know it can't be right. And I'm no better, babe, and I can't help you no more than I did when just a girl. Oh, but it don't make no difference, babe. No, no. And I know, and I could always try. It don't make no difference, baby. I better hold it now. I better need it, yeah. I better use it till the day I die. Don't expect any answers, dear. For I know that they don't come with age. No, no. I ain't never gonna love you any better, babe. And they're never gonna love you right. So you better dig it now, right now. Oh, but it don't make no difference, babe. And I know that I can always try. But that's a fire inside of every one of us. You better need it. indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Oh, baby, yes, indeed. I said, they're almost gonna hurt you. I said, they're almost gonna let you down. I said, everywhere, every day, and every way. Oh, honey, what you hold on to, it's gonna move. I said, it's gonna disappear when you turn your back. I said, you know it ain't gonna be there when you wanna reach out and grab on. Wow, babe. Wow, babe. Wow, babe. Oh, but keep trucking on. Wow, yeah. Wow, yeah. Wow, yeah. Wow.
That is incredibly emotionally intense, but at the same time, it's very sweet. There's a gentleness and a sweetness to her voice and to the music, and it feels very tender, and it's such an interesting combination of the two sets of emotions and feelings. I didn't pause it at all, but I'm going to go back through now and comment about some things that I picked up along the way that I would like to point out. It starts with this very gentle, swaying piano that isn't anything really striking. It's just setting the tone. And it's one of the things that kind of made me think that it has a very gentle sweetness to it, because that little bit of piano intro, that the personality of it and the attitude of it kind of carries through the whole song, even when it gets incredibly intense. But when the drums come in, it's a very, it feels a little bit off balance. I mean, not musically off balance, but like it's expressing something that's a little bit awkward or out of place, because it's not just a drum roll or a consistent rhythmic pattern that brings us in. It's a bit of a splash of different sounds coming out of the drums. And only then do we settle into time. And suddenly here comes the voice. Somehow I expected a bit of a darker voice, but this is a very smooth, light-sounding voice. It doesn't have a lot of heaviness to it.
Time keeps moving on.
Notice how when she sings time and the little slide and flexibility into that word, and then keeps moving on. And then when the guitar comes and answers it, it's the same type of bend in the note. It carries up a little bit higher, but it's a nice collaboration between the two.
Moving on. Frame
In fact, the guitar carries her up to her next note.
Keeps moving on. Friends, they turn away. I keep moving on, but I never find out why. I keep
It's a very intense singing voice there, but still, even with this intense expression of emotion in her voice, it's not dark, it's not heavy. I didn't notice anywhere in this song that it felt like it was a dark, heavy sound. And it's so interesting to treat such, as she said, a very difficult period of time, a very emotional, intense, traumatic experience with such lightness, with such light within it. But you hear that in the music and in the voice.
I keep moving on, but I never find out why. I keep pushing too hard, and babe, I keep trying to make it right to another lonely day. Ooh,
I like that word dawn. The way she sings the word dawn, it almost sounds like it is the light that starts to filter up, first right by the horizon and then filter out into the rest of the world. You can hear it just trickling out and coming alive and opening up into brighter light.
dawn's coming in. 25 years under just one night. Oh yeah. Well, I'm 25 years older now, so I know we can't be right. And I'm no better, babe, and I can't help you no more.
It's hard to stop there because it wants to take you further and further. But as I'm listening to this song and reading the lyrics, and I'm thinking, is this babe a lover or is it a child? I tend towards thinking it's a child, and it's almost as if the mother is talking about perhaps the night in which the child was conceived, or perhaps the night in which the child was born. I don't know exactly which, but it seems like she, as a mother, is expressing the hard life she's had. At the same time, she feels that, but it's not because she's complaining about her hard life to her child. It's almost like she's trying to comfort her child through a difficult period, and she's bringing her own experience into it, and talking about, I wish I could help you. I wish I could do more for you, but I can't. You're going to have to make your own way in the world. That was 25 years ago that I brought you into the world, and now I would like to do more for you, but I can't, and I don't have the capacity for it. And I've lived through life myself, and it's been hard, and it's been lonely, and it's been a struggle, and it still is a struggle. And all I can do is tell you honestly that it's hard. But here we are, and here I am. And you can do so as well.
Dawn's coming in. 25 years under just one night.
Just one
Oh yeah. Well, I'm 25 years old.
And that little drum roll there feels like a nice, not just a musical touch. It seems to be announcing this statement of, well, I'm 25 years older now. And setting us up for that declaration.
25 years, and just one night. Oh yeah. Well, I'm 25 years older now, so I know it can't be right. And I'm no better, babe, and I can't help you no more than I did when just a girl.
I can't help you any more than when I was just a girl. So this child was born when she was young. Perhaps it was a mistake child or you know, a misjudgment that she made in a relationship that was not what it should have been, and she's had to move on. She's had to raise this child on her own, probably. And now this child is 25 and facing the realities of life. And this expression, I'm no better, babe, and I can't help you no more. I'm no better than I was back then. I can't help you any more than I did when just a girl. And yet you hear that there is so much love and affection in the lyrics and in the music and in the voice. And it's that sweetness and that gentleness that still exists in there.
You know more than I did when just a girl.
Also, the way she's singing it here, it sounds as if it frustrates her that she can't do more, that there is nothing more she can do. She's done everything she can and she's still doing, but she can't do more.
You know more than I did when just a girl. But it don't make no difference, babe. No, no. And I know, and I could always try. It don't make no difference, babe. I better hold it now.
There's a sort of brass in this as well.
And I know, and I could always try. It don't make no difference, babe. I better hold it now. I better need it, yeah.
When I hear brass used like that, it always makes me think of something triumphant, celebratory, strong, overcoming, conquering. And it's so interesting to hear it used in this context. And those associations that I personally have with the sound of the instrument add another layer onto this whole expression that's being made here. It don't make no difference. And I know that I could always try to do more for you, of course. I could always try. But it doesn't make any difference that, first of all, that I can't do more for you now. And it also doesn't make difference that I can always try to do more for you now. I hold it better now. What is this it? I guess the life and the love that exists in this person's world, life, between the child and the mother, between anything else. There's a passion and there's a will to continue, not just to fight, but this feeling of it's a triumphant life in spite of all that we go through and we have to deal with in our lives.
Can't help you no more than I did when just a girl. But it don't make.
And that exclamation there, ah! Again, it seems like it's the expression of frustration and also acknowledgement, realization. It doesn't make any difference. I can still try.
It can't be right, and I'm no better, babe, and I can't help you no more than I did when just a girl. But it don't make no difference, babe. No, no, and I know, and I could always try.
I know
It
that.
don't make no difference, babe. I better hold it now. I better need it, yeah. I better use it till the day I die.
And with that, you become more calm, more peaceful. Not in a passive way. It's more like, whoa, that is how this life is, and that is how I choose to live. And it's beautiful. To see the wonder in the world and experience the wonder in our life.
Expect any answers, dear.
This is very intimate and like giving some advice. Now we're turning to the child and saying, okay, this was my personal story, this was my background, this is why I know that I can't help you, and I'm sorry I can't help you in this, and it frustrates me that I can't help you in this, but still I can try. And there is beauty in this life. But don't expect any answers. Not now. Not even later. They don't come with age. And, well, let's go on.
Don't expect any answers, dear. For I know that they don't come with age.
I like the little guitar commentary there.
Don't expect any answers, dear. For I know that they don't come with age. No, no.
No, no.
I ain't never gonna love you any better, babe. And they're never gonna love you right. So you better take it now, right now. Oh, but it don't make no difference.
Again, this expression. I'm never going to love you any better. No better than I do now. In other words, I can't love you more than I do. I love you completely with my entire being. I have no more love to find because I love you utterly. And in spite of that, it's not enough. I can't love you right. This is such an expression of a mother's love for her child. Now the child is grown and the child is no longer in her arms. She can't protect it and bandage the skinned knee, kiss the little smashed finger. It's these, now at 25, this baby, this child that she birthed and that she raised and she loves now has to fly on its own wings. But here she is right alongside, still trying to comfort, still trying to encourage, and at the same time being incredibly, brutally honest about the fact that you're going to have a hard life. You're going to have hard knocks. It's the way it is. Whatever trouble you're in now, you have to face it, just like I did back then. And I can't say it's going to be easy. I can't say you're going to be able to find a way to fix it. But whatever it is, love will carry you through. And all my love is here for you. If it helps at all, at least you know it's here for you.
But it don't make no difference, baby.
Again, that expression, oh, but it doesn't make any difference. And yet again, we hear in the music this sort of rejoicing, triumphant sound.
Right now. But it don't make no difference, baby. And I know that I know what's right.
I can always
Inside
tell.
of every one of us.
There's a fire inside every one of us.
I get to hold it, yeah. I better use it till the day I die.
And the music that goes behind this here is so incredibly suited and helps us to understand the lyrics, because reading through them, we might wonder, okay, what is really being expressed here? They don't stand on their own very well. It's not like a poem or something that you could read and really get the meaning of it. But when you put it with the music, suddenly you start to feel the heart and soul within it. And here, if we listen to the music, the way the triumphant strings and the cheery percussion,
But it don't make no difference, baby.
the confident bass,
I know what's right. There's a fire inside of every one of us. You better
and the guitar in there that is kind of doing a dance, a joyful dance.
and I know that I know what's right. There's a fire inside of every one of us. You better need it now. I get to hold it, yeah. I better use it till the day I die.
And the way the music helps to accentuate and bring attention to some of these phrases and these expressions. For example, this set here.
There's a fire inside of every one of us. You better need it now. I get to hold it, yeah. I better use it till the day I die.
And then again, drum roll to the day I die. It's the percussion here is really doing a wonderful job of shaping the entire narrative of the story. And so we have this fire inside of us. And then, you better need it now. In other words, you have this fire in you, child, just as much as I do. And I get to hold it. And I better use it till the day I die. And you better do the same too. No, it won't make any difference. It won't make our lives easier. And it never will. But it's there, and hang on to it.
Fire inside of every one of us. You better need it now. I get to hold it, yeah. I better use it till the day I die. Don't make no difference, babe. No. And it never ever will.
Never, ever will.
I wanna talk about living and loving you.
And now I'm going to talk to you, baby, about a little bit of loving. We have this fire in us. What do we do with it? We love.
I get to hold it, baby.
I get to
I'm
hold
gonna need
it.
it now.
I'm gonna need it now.
Say,
I better use it.
don't make no difference.
Doesn't make any
baby.
difference.
Oh, and I hate to be the one. I said you better live your life and you better love your life.
Again, the honesty. I'd hate to be the one who said, you're going to live your life and you're going to love your life. That's not true. You're going to have a very hard time. You, because, for whatever reason, Is it because you are very sensitive, very passionate? Because I mean, every one of us faces hard times in life, some harder than others. But this is a mother just being open and truthful with her child and saying, it's not going to be easy. You're not always going to love it. You're not always going to live it the way you please. Things are going to come that will interfere. You might do them to yourself, other people might do them to you. Regardless, they're coming. And I'd hate to be the one to tell you it's all going to be easy and you're going to love every moment of it and you're going to just be able to float through. No. Someday, you're going to have to cry. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Oh, baby, yes, indeed. This is the mother saying, trying to tell the child what's ahead of them, what's life going to be, and at the same time trying to impart this love, that help the child understand that this fire, this internal fire, and this love that we all have within us will carry us through those hard times, regardless whether the mother is there or not. She can't be there every time. She can't pick you up. She can't bandage your knee. Some things can't be bandaged. And yet, still, she loves you.
Oh, and I hate to be the one. I said you better live your life, and you better love your life.
And you hear the passion in
Someday
it.
you're gonna have to cry. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Notice again how the drum accentuates, and you're going to have to cry.
Yes, indeed. You better live your life, and you better love your life. Oh, baby, someday you're gonna have to cry. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
In the midst of all this passionate musical expression swirling around this voice and these words that really feels joyful, strangely joyful. You can hear the guitar in there, and the guitar is almost being the voice of sadness. It's crying. Sometimes you hear it sobbing. Sometimes you hear it just can't pull itself up above the rest of this that is happening. It's struggling to stay afloat. It's struggling to be its own voice. It's kind of representing and functioning as the sadness that this mother is talking about. And yet it's all within the context of this buoyant scene, musical fabric.
Oh, baby, someday you're gonna have to cry. Yes, indeed.
Listen to the guitar.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Oh, baby, yes, indeed. I said they're always gonna hurt you. I said they're always gonna let you down. I said everywhere, every day, and every way. Oh, honey, what you hold on to, it's gonna move. I said it's gonna disappear when you turn your back. I said you know what I.
And she is trying her best to say, to get this through the child's head. I've said to you, they're gonna hurt you, they're gonna let you down. I said everywhere, every day, every way. It's going to happen to you. Don't expect anything else. Life is not a bed of roses. At least, not just the flowers, you have the thorns too. Don't imagine it's going to be any other way. Be prepared. Accept the fact that this is the world you live in and you have to fight and you have to struggle. And hold on to what's going to move. is going to disappear when you turn your back. Don't forget to care about and give attention to the things that are important and that are going to hold you and anchor you in this world. Because if you turn your back on them, if you turn your back on love, if you turn your back on truth, if you turn your back on the fire that is within you, if you don't feed it and nurture it, if you don't cultivate love, if you don't appreciate the people in your life, like your mother, they're going to disappear. They won't be there when you turn your back. It won't be there when you need it. And so, keep your focus, child. Keep your focus. Keep your priorities. Find your way through, but stay grounded. Stay connected and attached to the truly important things and be clear in your mind who they are. That's what it sounds like that this is saying here. That's what it sounds like to my ears. I'm curious to see if it sounds like that or some other way to your ears. Notice that scale there, marching down. So assertive.
I said everywhere, every day, and every way. Honey, what you hold on to, it's gonna move. I said it's gonna disappear when you turn your back.
And lower.
I said, you know it ain't gonna be there when you wanna reach out and grab on. Wow, babe. Oh, but keep trucking on. Wow,
Keep
yeah.
trucking on. And so, the voice of the mother and the introduction to this song, which is so incredibly sweet. Almost like a lullaby. It is the same mother and the same voice and the same loving expression that now has her shaking the child by the shoulders and saying, listen to me and never forget this because your life depends on it. And keep on trucking.
Keep trucking on. Wow, yeah.
And bump, 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 bump. Just don't let it go. This is an incredibly powerful piece of music. And, well, I didn't exactly know what to expect when I came into it. Of course, I said I expected a darker voice. I even expected a gloomier song, Kozmic blues. And the blues, as a musical genre, are known for rather depressing expressions and perspectives. Not always, but that's why we associate the blues with the blues. And yet this is not that. It is not a down in the dumps, I'm miserable, I have so much inner sadness and sorrow that I have to tell you about. It's not that kind of blues. Kozmic blues. To me, after having listened to it, I guess I take the title as being more the universal experience of every mother towards her child, towards her children that she loves, and the universal human experience between mother and child, and life in general. It's cosmic, it's universal, Yes, it's difficult. Life is tough, face it. And at the same time, hang on to the things that make it worth holding on to. It's a beautiful message. It's a beautiful song. And it's a beautiful expression of this experience and this, shall we say, worldview, this outlook on life. And it feels very universal, very applicable to practically anyone in every part of the world. Because it doesn't matter where you live, what you're facing. Life is tough, but hang on to what's good and true and solid and worthy in the middle of it. Really a lovely song. And, well, there I have listened to the three greats, Jim, Jimmy, and Janis. And finally, I have this triangle of the three, at least one of each. And I have enjoyed every single one of them immensely. And I will return to each one of them in the future along this journey that I'm taking. And when I do, I will share the experience with you. I'll see you next time.